Hey everyone, Sean Banks here, and welcome to another episode of Sell with Sean Banks. With that being said, if you're new to my channel, welcome. Every time that I record these videos, I do it with 10 minutes or less to provide a sales tip or best practice that you can implement right away in your business. And today's conversation is actually going to be focused on prospects versus leads. And I chose this as a topic of today's conversation, just given that a lot of solopreneurs today, they're actually confusing between what a prospect is and what a lead is. And this leads to other challenges where they're actually burning themselves out because they're spending a majority of their time with the wrong people, and they're also nurturing the wrong way. Because the way you nurture a prospect is going to be completely different from how you nurture a lead. But first and foremost, in order to know to stop the burnout, in order to make sure you're spending time with the right people, you got to know the difference between the two. And then also you got to know how to approach the two in a way that actually gets them to convert through your sales process. So first and foremost, a prospect, when you think about these people, the best example I can give you is if you go through your cell phone right now, you have all these contact cards, friends, close family, maybe you have a few networking contacts in there from your job or people that you've met at other networking events. And in those contact cards, you have everything that you need to have access to them, which would be their phone number, their email address, of course, their name, their LinkedIn profile. Maybe you have their website or address. And if you have all that, these you have access to them. And that's all a prospect is. Anybody that has given you access to be able to communicate with them. Now, these prospects are very cold. Even though you met them in a networking event, you've had that first interaction where you're meeting face to face, or maybe you're meeting virtually. These people are still cold in a sense to where there's still a little bit more discovery and understanding that probably needs to be done so they understand more about what you do and more about what they do as well. So when you're thinking about prospects, just keep in mind that these people take a little bit more time to actually be warmed up to the point that they're willing and ready to have a conversation where then you can further to qualify and disqualify them. Now, the difference between the prospect and the lead is that the lead is somebody who's been, very engaged with you. They've been following your content. Let's say that you have a lead magnet out there, and your lead magnet could be anything such as a checklist, a webinar, it could be a newsletter, any type of resource that you have where they have to sign up for it. So they have to provide their name, their email address, their phone number. And the reason why we like leads a lot more than just regular prospects is because they're giving us permission to engage with them more. And these leads, because they've been following you for a while, they've pretty much done their research. They know what you do, they know the problem that you solve, they like the content that you put out there, and they already coming to you with a perception already of who you are. And because of that, they're willing to trust you with their information and for you to give them more content that they could leverage and use. And this is the perfect time when someone gives you their information willingly to actually have that follow-up system in place. And you're doing more to nurture these people through your sales process to want them to say, hey, you know what, Sean, you've actually posted really good content. You know my problem very well. I'm interested in learning more about your services and how we could potentially work together. And that's the beauty of it. Everybody wants to have leads, especially qualified ones, because these people, they're already coming to you with a specific problem that they believe you can help them with. And because they've been engaging with your content, because know they know how you think, they know about how you feel about certain things, they're trusting you with certain information, they'll actually help you be able to position them for a sale. And that's why everybody wants leads so bad, which I completely understand, because these people are really the best. They already done their research, they know what they want, and they're actually coming to you. Um, already with their hands out asking for more information and willing to give it. Now here's the problem that a lot of solopreneurs are making with prospects and leads. So remember in the beginning, I said people are spending time with the wrong people. And most times that's the prospects. You're spending so much time trying to convince somebody that's not in your niche, probably. You're trying to spend a lot of time trying to convince someone to want to to look at your services, to come to your webinar, come to your workshop, where these leads, these people who are actually willing to give you more information to try and move them to a sale, like these people are actually waiting for you to engage with them. And I see it backwards where a lot of solopreneurs, they're really disregarding those leads. Or here's another thing too that's really happening. They're nurturing those leads the wrong way. And you're probably asking, like, what do I mean by that? When you nurture a lead the wrong way, you're actually driving them to actually disqualify you when you should be disqualifying them. And there's a whole process to nurturing a lead when you get one, because when they click on your lead magnet, they're getting a certain piece of information. They're getting some content. And depending how you set that lead magnet up, you really want to make sure that your follow-up and your nurture process aligns with that lead magnet and the problem that you're calling out. So a lot of times what I see is that some solopreneurs, the message, the follow-up, the sequences, the automations, whatever you want to call it, it doesn't align with the lead magnet or the problems because they're trying to add more problems most times to the lead's plate, or they're trying to be a little bit greedy, um, and they're trying to sell everything under the sun or bring up as many problems as possible. And that's not how to lead nurture. So if there's anything that you get from today's conversation, I really want you to understand that prospects, while they're good, these people are pretty much cold. They're anybody that you have access to, which is great, but you really want to do your due diligence to make sure that you're nurturing them the right way to get them to go further to your sales process. Now, leads, on the other hand, these are the people that we really want. These are the people that are doing their research, they're engaging, they're liking the material, and they're giving you permission to actually engage with them further. So whatever that next step is, whether it's discovery call, whether it's a workshop, a webinar, reach out to these people, have that conversation, and let's qualify or disqualify them as quickly as possible so that we can move to the next person. Another thing too that I want you to get from this is that don't spend a lot of time on prospects. Really focus on how you can do actual lead generation, which is getting those people, like I said a few minutes ago, that really wants you to really engage with them so that you can position yourself to help them with whatever problem that they have. So with that being said, hopefully you got something from today's video. Just so you know, I just relaunched the client acquisition program, which is a group coaching program for service-based solopreneurs to actually get help with lead generation and then taking those leads through their sales process. And then also, just so you know, July 8th, I'm having my next workshop, which is on effective discovery. This is sponsored by the Virtually Structured Community. So if you are someone that's actually getting meetings with your ideal client, but you're struggling to get them to the next step or qualifying or disqualifying them, then you definitely want to be at that next workshop because I'm going to show you what you need to do and actually to make sure that you are getting all the information you need to actually qualify or disqualify someone from your list. So with that being said, I hope you enjoyed today's content. If you're not following me today, go ahead, hit that subscribe button, and I look forward to seeing you either in my next workshop or seeing you at the next video. Thanks. Have a good one.